So today Treyarch released their, I guess, seasonal video. Every single time a new season comes out, they release this and they talk about all the different game modes and everything that's going to be coming for those game modes throughout the season. Of course, zombies is no exception, and there was a lot of interesting things, well, maybe not said, but shown, because to our surprise, there was a direct in-game teaser for none other than Muaer Der Toten, and I want to talk about that, and we will get into it very soon, but I quickly want to mention the things that are probably going to happen before that, of course, in relation to, I guess, the next main Easter egg in Outbreak. And I thought it was kind of interesting, mainly from the story aspect of this, is that how they were describing the maps and Easter eggs before this and how they related to different things. Something was just setting up like the origins of everything. One was setting up Requiem, one other was setting up Omega, one was setting up the conflict between those two groups. But this one is going to be different because it's not going to be as, I guess, from a larger perspective, I guess is a poor way to put it, because this one is going to be directly related to the characters, and from there and from whatever happens with the characters, it's going to change the story fundamentally, and that is what's going to set up Muaer Der Toten and everything else going forward. So I know, I guess Craig Houston's been saying this for a while now, but it really does seem that after this Easter egg, it's going to fundamentally change the story, and it's going to be, I guess, an entirely new focus. He also kind of teased that the alliances between everybody may shift once we finally see what is actually inside the dark ether, so that is something else to be excited about. Another thing I should probably mention is that there was a point throughout this where they just started bleeping out everything. Craig Houston and I forget the other guy's name that was also talking about zombies was there. They were like bleeping out everything, which was cringe. But one thing that we did catch is that there was a mention of a brand new perk, so there is at least that. But with all of that out of the way, let's get into the juicy part. Of course, this being the teaser for Muaer Der Toten, and an in-game teaser. So what I'll do, I'll actually play it in its entirety. It's kind of short, but I'll play it in its entirety, and then quickly right after that, we'll break it down frame by frame. So yeah, that teaser actually showed a decent amount of the map, and it seems like this map may be actually pretty big, but we'll get more into that here in a bit. But for now, let's actually break down this teaser frame by frame, or at least what's important in the frames. So one thing I find very interesting about this first part of the teaser is the general area, because it looks like they're underground in these tunnels and stuff like that, which is something that we kind of see and may relate to the subway area that we see later inside this. But we do at least see that there is a pretty large underground area. And I do also think that this is probably going to be where we spawn for something we'll get into here in a little bit, but that may just be, something they did for the trailer, which again, we'll talk about here in a bit. But as for what we see right as this, the teaser starts, is actually we see an armory right there, the place where you buy the armor, upgrade your guns. We see them, it's just sitting right there, of course, not really being used right now. Another thing we do see in this exact same frame is that green light, which I'm pretty sure that green light is to an ammo box. Either way, the next clip, and this is what I was talking about, we actually see a zombie walking through a barrier, and assuming that this underground area is the exact same area as we saw before, because it is dark, so I'm assuming that this is going to be the same general area. I think that this kind of gives us a hint that this is going to be, the starting area, because obviously zombies are only walking early games, so I would imagine that that is what it's implying. Of course, it could be just for the trailer, but it is something that could possibly be giving us at least some information. But then the next clip is quite interesting, because we do see what we actually saw in our initial teaser for Muaer Der Toten, and this was the subway. But before we get into the train itself, a couple things we see again is an ammo box and also M16 green wall buy. But soon thereafter, the fiery subway comes flying by, but something unexpected happens, and a literal fiery zombie just decides to hop his way on out. So I don't know exactly how this subway and the zombies hopping out of it is going to, be in terms of gameplay, or if it's just going to be something that happens every now and then, or whatever it may be. But it is something that it's at least recognizing its existence of. But I will note that this is still underground, because right after that, we get a huge shot of the map. And I mean a huge shot of the map. Like, oh my gosh, as you guys can see, this person is first things first standing on a roof, and then he's looking down at an area where there's a ton of zombies. And this raises a lot of questions for me, because first things first, how large is this map? Because if we assume that the area he's looking at is playable, which seems very likely, because why else would zombies be there? But that would imply that there is this area that he's looking at, as I mentioned, but there's also the area he's standing on, the roof. And then on top of that, there's the areas that he was already on earlier in the teaser, which was underground. So it's rather they're doing some trickery here, just showing us, some of the biggest parts, and actually doesn't turn out to be that big, or this map potentially could be really big. But as for the other things that I think is important to mention here, is that there's a lot of zombies down there that aren't moving. So that makes me question if that's going to be an in-game thing, or if that's something they did for the trailer. Again, just one of those things. So I wonder if they're just going to have zombies standing around, similar to how they do it in Outbreak, where the zombies are just in an area, you walk over there, then they start chasing you, or what's exactly going on here. So that's something to take note of. But overall, I don't think there's really anything else we could take from this, which is a lot, to be fair. But then this trailer ends off just with the zombies hopping over the ledge, and then of course we get some quick frames that flash by. That I tried looking for anything, but there's really not anything there, just some zombie faces that zoom up really close, and that was the teaser. So it's actually insane that they're giving us this. I'm glad we're getting, information for this map so early on and stuff like that, but it just gets me excited to see what Muaer Der Toten is going to be and the story of that. And I really hope this main Easter egg, or second main Easter egg in Outbreak, does really bring that story to the next level, because currently right now it's just not there. And hopefully that's something that this, I guess between Muaer Der Toten and the second main Easter egg really does, which I think it potentially can, because they said that this story is going to start focusing on characters now, which is something that I love to hear, because characters are what carry almost every video game story ever. So, either way though, as I said, that's pretty much it. Pretty surprised to see all this, but I'm glad we got to see all this. But either way, I love to hear what you guys think of everything we talked about here today, whether it be the interview with Samantha Maxis's voice actress, or something they said before that I didn't mention, or maybe I missed something inside this little teaser. I'd love to hear all of that down in the comment section. But that's going to wrap it up for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff. But I'm going to go and catch you guys next stream video, or that game maybe, and laters, guys.